The reason why I always say touch grass is a big part of the reason why I always say be
Oh my God.
Touch grass, everybody.
He uses a touch grass. This is why I tell you to touch grass.
normal. I would have to say you're doing a terrible job. Yeah, that's unironically the most untrue thing.
Son his chat's like, what are you talking about, son? What are you talking about? You're crazy.
I am a good influence.
Yes.
You could say, because there are
That guy's been subscribed to him for 33 months too.
a ton of people in here that have found not only a sense of community online, but also have found themselves doing more productive in the real world as a direct consequence of me urging them to stop and shake themselves out of this like weird, deep, dark, nihilistic internet-based online circles that they find themselves in, whether it be going out and working out, whether it be urging them to join it, their local organizations and things of that nature.
Look, you join your local organization, get political. That's exactly what he's going to tell you to do. It's ridiculous. We always have fans reach out to us and say, oh yeah, I listen to you guys forever. Now I'm an attorney or a doctor. And I think,
Right.
yes, that's exactly what we want to see.
We're gonna learn about the motives of the ice shooter. Okay.
Oh,
You
this
think you
doesn't
know.
sound good.
You
This
think
sounds really
you
bad.
know about the motives, but let me tell you something. You don't. Okay, Hasan is gonna tell. He's gonna let us know the truth.
He's going to spin us around.
Yes.
So much to cover, so much going on in the world. Obviously, we got the FBI motives and FBI narratives that were undermined last night by Ken Klippenstein's fantastic reporting on the background of the shooter, the anti-ice shooter.
So just in case you're unfamiliar, Ken Klippenstein is a far left socialist who
No way.
routinely runs interference for any subject matter like this whatsoever. There's an article he wrote a few months ago called Luigi, sorry, I can't speak right now. Luigi Mangione becomes a political prisoner. And the whole article is lamenting the fact that Luigi is now a political prisoner, despite the fact that he, murdered someone in a terrorist action.
Wow. I mean, I thought he was a criminal.
Right? No, he's a political prisoner. Okay.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Now, does Hasan know this or is he just dumb?
He knows this. He likes it. What
okay.
do you mean? He's a big fan of this.
Gaslighting his audience.
He's a huge fan of all this action.
This amazing write-up that Ken Klippenstein did. He
Yes.
put all the bullshit together in one place. So we can read through it together.
His abrasive humor is where his friends describe his opinions on him diverge the most, with some describing it as amusing, but others as grating, especially as his online persona bled into real life. I mostly stopped talking to him when he took his 4chan irony stuff into daily interactions, one friend told me. He was becoming unbearable. Once he dropped out of college, he had no obligation to be social, and none of us reached out due to his edgelord behavior. Oh my Lord. This is, what's really funny? A lot of mainstream voices, especially on the right, constantly are now trying to point the finger of blame at like edgy nihilism and like political violence in my direction. And so much of what I try to do is to snap people out of this. Like literally, if people come in here and watch me for half a day, they will realize that a big chunk of what I am combating is exactly this: the social isolation that comes from finding yourself steeped within like incel, extremely online, irony poisoned, nihilistic circles that basically push your real life social interactions into the background as your online persona under the guise of anonymity becomes more and more your real world persona as well. And it causes people around you to go, ew, gross, get the fuck away from me. This is a big part of
I mean, this just sounds like complete bullshit to me. You think Hasan is convincing people to go out and be in the real world? Touch grass, as the kids say?
That's why it's like what he's saying in terms of these environments creating people to be nihilistic. That is true. But yes, the idea that Hasan is some sort of
But Hassan plays into that.
yes,
He's
100%.
totally nihilistic. What are you
he's
talking about?
yes, he's 100,000% contributing to that ecosystem, and the idea that he's some sort of warrior against that. That he's getting people to touch grass. Yes, the millionaire socialist is getting people to go out there into the real world and create positive change.
Right. Work on yourself. I mean, at least the red pill guys are saying you could go to the gym and work out, right? Hassan
Right.
says none of that shit. Hassan is like, no, stay and listen to me and preach socialism.
Mhm.
That'll make friends for you. No, that's what pushes people away. People are like, oh yeah. When you started dipping into the Hassan socialism 24 hours a day, we were like, nah. Bye-bye.
The reason why I always say touch grass is a big part of the reason why I always say be
Oh my God.
Touch grass, everybody.
He uses a touch grass. This is why I tell you to touch grass.
normal. I would have to say you're doing a terrible job. Yeah, that's unironically the most untrue thing.
Son his chat's like, what are you talking about, son? What are you talking about? You're crazy.
I am a good influence.
Yes.
You could say, because there are
That guy's been subscribed to him for 33 months too.
a ton of people in here that have found not only a sense of community online, but also have found themselves doing more productive in the real world as a direct consequence of me urging them to stop and shake themselves out of this like weird, deep, dark, nihilistic internet-based online circles that they find themselves in, whether it be going out and working out, whether it be urging them to join it, their local organizations and things of that nature.
Look, you join your local organization, get political. That's exactly what he's going to tell you to do. It's ridiculous. We always have fans reach out to us and say, oh yeah, I listen to you guys forever. Now I'm an attorney or a doctor. And I think,
Right.
yes, that's exactly what we want to see. And listen to me and preach socialism. That'll make friends for you. No, that's what pushes people away. People are like, oh yeah. When you started dipping into the Hassan socialism 24 hours a day, we were like, nah. Bye-bye.
The reason why I always say touch grass is a big part of the reason why I always say be
Oh my God.
Touch grass, everybody.
He uses a touch grass. This is why I tell you to touch grass.
normal. I would have to say you're doing a terrible job. Yeah, that's unironically the most untrue thing.
Son his chat's like, what are you talking about, son? What are you talking about? You're crazy.
I am a good influence.
Yes.
You could say, because there are
That guy's been subscribed to him for 33 months too.
a ton of people in here that have found not only a sense of community online, but also have found themselves doing more productive in the real world as a direct consequence of me urging them to stop and shake themselves out of this like weird, deep, dark, nihilistic internet-based online circles that they find themselves in, whether it be going out and working out, whether it be urging them to join it, their local organizations and things of that nature.
Look, you join your local organization, get political. That's exactly what he's going to tell you to do. It's ridiculous. We always have fans reach out to us and say, oh yeah, I listen to you guys forever. Now I'm an attorney or a doctor. And I think,
Right.
yes, that's exactly what we want to see. Better yourself. But Hassan is like, no, go out and knock on doors and try to get people to vote for Democrats.
Yeah, well,
That's a good
yes.
way to spend your time.
I know.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to find anyone who, with insight into Jan's more recent views, something that his friend said was unsurprising given his withdrawal from social life over the past few years.
Nobody's talked to him for 3 years. Holy shit.
Jesus Christ.
This is insane. So why are you digging this up? Why are you going excavating? Huh? Why are you
Well,
being
obviously-
the archaeologist of this guy?
We have to ignore physical evidence because someone that knew him 3 years ago says something else.
Right. It's total bullshit.
If you're having trouble finding people besides immediate family who knew him. That's part of the story, one friend said. Every mutual friend drifted away over that kind of edgelord behavior. A fledgling version of Jan's humor appears in the following YouTube video since removed from when he was a high schooler, a tongue-in-cheek parody of tech advice videos. Hello there, Facebook user. Are you tired of scrolling through your Facebook feed mindlessly? Well, there's a solution. You can unlike all your crappy pages. The following audio recording of Jan bombing at stand-up comedy was shared with me. It drew a comparison by one friend to the 2019 Joker film starring Joaquin Phoenix as an off-putting loner who also tried and failed at comedy. The film culminates in a scene in which the Joker gets his revenge on the entertainment world by gunning down the host of a popular late-night TV show.
Totally irrelevant. Totally irrelevant to the actual situation. Can we see his comedy? Is his comedy still up?
He plays a little bit
down.
of it. The audio is like, I can't even really understand what the fuck he's talking about.
Oh, that's too bad.
So they have identified the person who crashed into and started shooting people at the Michigan Mormon Church.
Okay.
And of course, now that they've identified him, everyone's rushing to try to figure out what their political affiliation is.
Right. The internet's going to town.
Right. And so in a sort of this is obviously people died here, so it's kind of horrific, but in a sort of like very dark, I don't know if it's comedic or dark irony situation, we've now have another 2 movies is going to be spawned off because people have a picture of their yard, of their front yard, and they have a Trump Vance, or is it, I don't know if it's a Trump Vance or a Trump Pence sign, like on the Google image picture that people are looking at. But then there's also a stop sign underneath it. So it's like, okay, well, is the stop sign because they thought someone was going to crash in their house, or are they trying to say stop Trump? Like it's now people just interpret it however.
Oh,
So,
wow.
So what exactly does that mean?
Wow.
Oh,
Stop Vance Pence.
yes. So everyone's going to.
Can you send the picture and I'll bring it up?
Not really.
Oh, okay.
I want to bring it up. So I would say I would agree on this one. People gotta relax and let more information come out before everyone starts finger pointing and jumping down everyone's throats.
Was it a big murder fest at the church?
Let me see here.
I hate these mass shootings.
Yeah. It says at least 2 dead, 8 wounded.
Wow.
So yeah, not great. Definitely horrific.
The audio from his attempted stand-up routine where he bombs now resonates uncannily with Joker, the friend said. Ironically, Jan's contempt for Trump and the major political parties has bestowed them with one of the most intensely partisan news cycles in recent memory. In this sense, the joke is on him and all of us too. This still doesn't mean that the shooter has no profiles in or has no ideological profile that could be left slanted in any capacity in any way, shape, or form, for the record. But this paired up with the fact that the FBI investigation that has yielded no results, both in the case of Tyler Robinson and also in the case of this shooter as well, to any sort of like left adjacent groups, like left adjacent associations, makes it much harder for the government to develop a profile that would justify significant incursions on free speech. Do you want me to actually look at the failed bomb stand-up routine that was audio? I guess it could like show us a little bit more of the background, but it's from 2019.
Was it the Dallas Comedy Club last time? All right, so I'm going to start out with talking about something pretty serious. My buddy was talking to me the other day about reality TV, and he didn't like it too much. He said reality TV should never be played on TV, and I was all taken aback, like, whoa, dude, come on. I have some extremely bad insecurity issues about myself. They constantly eat me up alive, and reality TV is a remedy for that. That's a perfect remedy, and it applies.
I'll
to
be
me,
honest.
so.
Right off the jump, just hearing him speak, this is more consistent with like loner, antisocial personality disordered, like socially malignant shooters that we have seen in the past, as opposed to someone like Tyler Robinson, who very clearly still had.
I like how we have. Remember when Hasan was the armchair weapons expert?
Oh yeah,
totally. When there was the story about whether Israel dropped ammunition and blew up the hospital, or whether it was Hamas or some other Palestinian group that shot it. And he's like, oh, I can hear the sound of the bomb, and I've made determinations based on the sound of like what the munitions was, because he's such a munitions expert. So now Hassan is an armchair voice analysis expert. And by hearing some cringy clip of a guy performing very poorly at some local club doing stand up for the first time, he's like, obviously, this is a antisocial personality nihilist psychopath.
Yeah, whenever I see someone up in front of a crowd talking to them, I think, oh yeah, a loner, antisocial.
Yeah,
Right?
right. It's like, what the fuck?
Normally that's the person sitting in the back of the room.
I know.
Yes.
This is so dumb. Like, yes, a person who is nervous and shy on stage, you're like, oh, obviously I know everything about them. I heard them for 30 seconds. Okay.
It takes a lot of guts to get up in front of it. But
So stupid.
obviously this guy's, what I see is someone who's looking for attention, right? Someone
Right.
who's going to actually do a comedy bit and stand up in front of a comedy club.
Right.
That person wants attention.
Sure.
This is how people get attention, which
Mhm.
fucking sucks.
Friends at the point of the alleged assassination of Charlie Kirk that he allegedly participated in. Do you see what I mean?
What? Alleged. You hear the emphasis on those alleged there. Okay.
Opposed to someone like Tyler Robinson, who very clearly still had friends at the point of the alleged assassination of Charlie Kirk that he allegedly participated in.
Why is he saying that?
Because it's alleged. Obviously.
Do you get in trouble for saying this guy's a murderer?
Not unless you're worried he's going to sue you.
I mean, there's a lot of people that still say that about Kyle Rittenhouse, and he was acquitted.
Right. It's because, I don't know if you know this, Hassan is going to break bread with Candace Owens. Okay. They're going to unite and hold hands and talk about how it's really Israel. Took out Charlie.
God, wouldn't be surprised. Very unfortunate.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? This reminds me more of like a Thomas Crook style individual where,
Oh my God. Oh, he goes straight to the right wing guy.
Well, Crooks wasn't right wing. He was nothing.
Oh,
It seemed like he was nothing. Yeah.
their politics are indecipherable and it just like kind of doesn't make sense. As far as like Luigi Mangione or Tyler Robinson goes, their background does not correspond to like the average profile of like a school shooter or a mass shooter, a person engaging in like a horrific act of violence. This seems to be more evidence that the political shooting is supplanting the school shooting as a path to notoriety for suicidal and nihilistic, socially maladjusted individuals. Yes, this is.
Now that I could actually agree with, and that
Yeah.
is, I mean, obviously doing a school shooting is disturbing too. So you might
And
see
this-
this disturbing pattern arise. Yeah.
The stand-up routine plays into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My argument as well, this is what I am seeing as well, especially because these things have a tendency to create copycats. In the past, and I said this yesterday,
I mean, the problem is, where are you going to get attention, right? Who's going to
Mhm.
praise you? Oh, it's all these crazy leftists online who celebrate violence. That's part of the problem. There's an audience for it. But
True.
people like Hasan are creating that audience. So,
in the past, when people wanted to make a name for themselves, when someone was like a socially maladjusted, isolated, alienated, sometimes mentally ill person, right? And they had suicidal ideation. Instead of doing suicide by cop, they would go and engage in a mass shooting in an area, in an environment that they've designed for themselves that have tremendous control over their lives. If you're young, it's the school, right? The school is restrictive. If you are older, it's your workplace, right? It's your resentment. It's the resentment that you experience that you associate with a hierarchy that holds you back. But I think a lot of these people have now realized that given how much school shootings have become commonplace, it doesn't actually end up getting you the broad recognition and the constant back and forth. Like, what's the reason why he did this? What's the reason why he actually, let's try to identify the motives. Let's like dig into the background of the shooter. Because like the evidence itself is built in. I mean, look at the Annunciation Church shooter, right? Right-wing profile, insane, highlighted a bunch of white nationalist mass shooters. That was a story that was around for like 2.5 days. And then people made their partisan motives, people made their partisan framework very clear in that process. And then they just moved on. So you don't get the same level of elevated profile from stuff like that. So then you see, I think, people engaging in acts of political violence potentially, because they think this will allow people to, this will give them more notoriety. If I were to dive into the mindset of a person like this, I suspect that this is for them a way to chase fame, a way to have a semblance of control over their lives when they feel like they've completely lost all power. They have no way of developing autonomy. They feel alienated. They feel isolated. They don't have any friends. They don't have any purpose in life.
He doesn't make the connection, though, that the fame and notoriety comes from the people on the left cheering for you.
Mm-hmm.
People on the right are not celebrating right-wing shooters, right-wing violence. That's not happening. But these left-wing shooters, I mean, obviously the Charlie Kirk is a perfect example. Everyone went fucking crazy celebrating that shit. So that inspires people. They're like, oh my goodness, I can be loved. I can be immediately loved by everyone on TikTok.
Yeah, you can say that there were people that were I don't know if it's celebrating. There were people that were like mocking. I guess they're celebrating and mocking.
They were celebrating.
No.
So sick.
They were, but I'm saying there were people that were definitely celebrating and mocking the guy who attacked Nancy Pelosi's husband. But that was done in such a fashion that like no one would want to emulate that, because the guy was like crazy and it was weird. And people were like coming up with this whole thing about it. They were like gay lovers or something. So even though people were mocking, which is disgusting, the circumstances around it would not breed emulation because of the weirdness of the situation. So, but yeah, so I mean, so far
they
there
weren't
hasn't
celebrating the act. They
um
weren't celebrating the person doing it to their political rival in the
they
same way
kind
that
of
they were.
were. I don't know if I
Charlie
agree. They
Kirk.
kind of were.
Were they?
I think they were.
Okay, well, that's sick.
But
That's grotesque.
it is. But there hasn't been yet, and fortunately there won't be, hopefully there won't be, some sort of right-wing attack on a person who does an attack motivated by right-wing ideology that is then celebrated by the right, because that could lead to, as you're saying, sort of the emulation copycat factor.
Yeah. If something happens to the Charlie Kirk of the left, whoever that may be, and there is the kind of celebration that there was over Charlie Kirk on the right, it is going to inspire more people to commit acts of violence, which fucking sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what creates it. There's the audience there for it. Yeah, which is totally lame. But Hasan keeps saying that. Oh yeah, they're doing it for notoriety and fame. Well, maybe you shouldn't give them the notoriety and fame.
And they feel like this is a way to become powerful in their own minds. This like sick, twisted way to try and get notoriety and therefore some kind of power even after they die. Now, I don't.
God, he's so stupid. They want popularity. And that popularity is very real. We saw the popularity on TikTok over the Charlie Kirk thing. We saw that popularity, which is fucking gross.
Think that for Luigi that was the case, right? I don't know, but it didn't feel like that was the case for Luigi Mangione. But it
Wait, hold on.
To become powerful in their own minds. This like sick, twisted way to try and get notoriety and therefore some kind of power even after they die. Now, I don't think that for Luigi that was the case, right? I don't know, but it didn't feel like that was the case for Luigi Mangione. But it doesn't matter because like the endless back and forth in the aftermath, the endless media cycle.
So even he's, oh my God, he's still trying to like suck up to or to praise
Louis-
Luigi.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so disgusting.
Yeah, because he's telling all his fans to praise him.
He's like, oh, with Luigi, I don't think Luigi was motivated by all these negative things. Okay. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Hasan.
Looking at the motives and looking at the causes of why this kind of violence was outright celebrated, right? Allegedly with Luigi Mangione. That in and of itself,
Allegedly, right?
Now,
It's
now he's
alleged.
saying the celebration is allegedly.
Oh, yeah, Jesus Christ.
I mean, we saw Taylor Lorenz on Piers Morgan. It seemed pretty obvious. She
Yes.
said that she felt joyful.
Right.
Remember?
Right. Oh, my God.
What a loony bin.
think created a media environment that made it so that other people would look at that and be like, I want that. Like, I want that for myself. I want this kind of fanfare, or I want this kind of endlessly diving into the background of someone like me, little old me, becoming high profile, which of course is genuinely worrisome for two different reasons. One, because it's just yet another, like, the more high profile shootings take place and the more this kind of violence we are desensitized to, the more people will try to increase the intensity in the aftermath of that, especially if people in positions of power feel fearful. They will greatly clamp on those who they believe are responsible for this kind of radicalization. And it'll never be the systems themselves that are radicalizing people. It'll never be like the cost of paywalling healthcare for many Americans that universalizes that experience for them. It'll always be people like myself. You know, it'll always be a media figure that played a role in this. And for the Republicans, it's very clear. It's not just people like myself either. It's also the Democrats as a whole. It's anyone that considers what Donald Trump is doing to be Nazi behavior, fascist behavior. Do you see what I mean?
Look, he's backpedaling so much here. He must know that there's a huge target on him right now.
Mm-hmm.
And they will do everything in their power to stamp out discontent. People have been chasing fame or infamy of the Columbine boys for years. Everyone still remembers their names. People won't remember Solomon Henderson in 20 years. Yeah, the irony, of course, is that the increasing frequency of these kinds of violence, these kinds of violent incidents, also leads to an overall desensitization to these kinds of violent incidents. And therefore, it causes people that are chasing infamy by engaging in this incredibly violent act to not even get that infamy anyway.
Okay, I sent you an X post they can bring up here. Because, so the end of that clip that we just watched is Hasan crying about, oh, they're trying to blame people like me, innocent baby angel Hasan, for radicalizing people, for maybe people going out and doing violence. How could they blame me? I'm so innocent. And then we cut to this clip. That took place.
This is going to be great. I can tell already.
Exact same time period of all this situation that he's talking about here. I think this was like the day after the clip that we just watched came out.
All right. 17 seconds. Ready?
Yes.
3, 2, 1, go.
Partigiano. Bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Turkey's in a pain to protect the flotilla. Erdogan probably watched your stream yesterday.
Oh.
Yeah, he listens to me, dude.
That's so interesting. Hasan randomly singing that Bella Ciao
Giving
song.
a shout out.
Yes.
Giving a shout out to Charlie Kirk's murderer.
Yes.
Murderer.
Oh,
Look, doesn't that just say, look, if you want to get a shout out from Hasan, what do you have to do, Sitch?
you have to go shoot somebody on the right.
Fuck, I can't believe this shit. This is a guy who's telling people to go out and touch grass. After he lectures for 20 minutes about how all these people want his notoriety.
Yes.
And he's like, look, I'm going to give you the notoriety you deserve, you seek. Come to me.
Yeah. And it really shows you what a despicable snake he is, because so much of his rhetoric is like, oh, it was bad that Charlie Kirk died, blah, 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 blah. And it's obvious that, as you said, there's a lot of eyeballs on him at the moment. A lot of people looking at him. Unfortunately, because Destiny's such a fucking retard spaz and can't keep his fucking mouth shut and not be unhinged, Destiny kind of shoved a lot of the attention away from Hasan onto himself. Right. But yes, there's a lot of attention on Hasan. And so he's been trying to say stuff. And then here he opens up his stream with the most obvious call out to the shooter.
I mean, your brain has to be off to do this kind of stuff.
there, this is so intentional. There's no reality, no world where you're like, oh, this was just a mistake. This is an accident. Just a total accident that I did this. I just for no other reason just happened to be watching this song and it was just stuck in my head as I was singing it on stream. Who knows, right?
It's sick. It's totally sick. This is a celebration. Everyone who's hearing this and is celebrating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's good. Listen, it's good because on October 8th, and we'll probably watch it here, is the House Oversight Committee where they're going to bring out the heads of Twitch and Discord and some other platforms in Congress, and they're going to ask them a whole bunch of questions. And it will be nice to see Dan Clancy, hopefully some of the Congress people will play clips of Hasan doing all this and advocating for all this crazy shit. And will say, hey, Dan Clancy, I'm very confused. In your terms of service, it says advocating for terrorism and political violence is not allowed. And yet, very clearly, we have one of your top streamers doing this exact action. Why is he still allowed on the platform?
Yeah, this would be great. This would be great. That would make some viral clips out of that stuffy old congressional hearing.
Mm-hmm.
They play this clip of Hasan. Oh my God. I can't wait for the 8th. Hi, you just listened to a clip from the Sitch Adam show. Most of the time we stream Sunday at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, and we stream during the week. Come join us. You guys are going to love it. It'll be great.